Hello everyone. Missourians will be going to the polls on November 6th to vote on a proposal to increase the tobacco tax here in the state of Missouri. It's going to appear on the ballot as Proposition B. And here with us to discuss that issue is Misty Snodgrass, and Misty is spokesperson for the campaign supporting this issue and also Director of Government Affairs for the American Cancer Society. And Misty, thanks a lot for being with us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Just give us an overview of this ballot issue, if you would, Misty.
Yeah, we've started to look about this about 2.5 years ago to see if we could increase the tobacco tax in the state of Missouri. And it would increase the tobacco tax by 73 cents per pack of cigarettes, and then a 10% increase on other tobacco products. So it's not just cigarettes, it's also other tobacco products. And the revenue generated from this would be at the floor probably about $279 to $280 million, and then 50% would go to elementary and secondary education schools, and 30% go to higher education, and 20% to go to tobacco prevention and cessation.
And there's a pretty diverse coalition supporting this issue, isn't there?
Yeah, we've been able to establish a very broad-based coalition, from businesses to business groups to Chamber of Commerce's to public health entities to education to higher education entities. So we feel very confident about our coalition.
Mm-hmm. Including MSBA.
Yes.
We're one of your partners as well.
Absolutely.
Why does Missouri need a higher tobacco tax in your view, Misty?
Well, one of the number one reasons why to increase the tobacco tax is to help prevent youth from ever starting to smoke. We know that if we increase the tax, that it does reduce youth initiation into smoking, and we think that's a really good thing in our state, as well as it does help some other users begin to quit because the price becomes at a certain point and they chose not to smoke. We know that most people do want to quit smoking, and sometimes this provides them the incentive to do so. Additionally, it provides some much needed revenue for schools, higher education, as well as tobacco prevention and cessation in our state.
Mm-hmm. And our cigarette tax in Missouri is among the lowest. The other states are much higher, aren't they?
Absolutely. We are the lowest, actually, by a significant amount. And we'd still be in the bottom third even when we do increase this to 90 cents.
You talked about the revenue that this proposal would generate. Misty, how would it be used specifically? Yeah,
50% would go to elementary and secondary elementary schools, so it would come down through on an average daily attendance, and then if the foundation formula is ever fully funded, it would go on a per pupil basis. And so that would provide revenue in the classrooms, as well as some much needed capital for investing in facilities, textbooks. We know that schools have had significant cuts or not the funding increases they've needed, and so it will provide so much more needed revenue. And then 30% would go to higher education institutions, and that would be have an emphasis on training of healthcare professionals. So that could be in providing facilities, it could be providing faculty, or it could just be providing some scholarship. And then tobacco and prevention and cessation is 20% of it. It would help fund Missouri's Quit Line. We provide $0 towards tobacco prevention and counter marketing towards the tobacco industry. So that would help provide all sorts of activities regarding youth, as well as providing necessary tools in the toolbox for people to be able to quit.
Now, Missouri has a fairly high smoking rate compared to other states, doesn't it?
Absolutely. We have one of the highest. We're in the top 11 usually when it comes towards adult smoking. However, the disturbing trend in Missouri is that youth smoking is going up, as well as other tobacco product use in our state.
Mm-hmm. Now, Misty, with this proposal, we've seen other proposals, I guess, purporting to provide additional revenue to education, and sometimes we're not absolutely sure that it really will generate additional revenue. Mm-hmm. There have been some games played, frankly,
yep,
in state budgets regarding that. Is there some guarantee that this will actually provide additional money for education?
We absolutely. that is the number one question I receive, and it's a valid one because there is voter distrust when it's come towards whether it be the casino gaming money or any other types of additional funding for education. And we were very cognizant when we designed that measure, and so we decided to make sure there were numerous safeguards in place, and we can provide additional details, but I can give you a brief overview of them. But in the language of the initiative, you'll find that we create separate trust funds for this money to go into so that it cannot be swept from general revenue purposes. We also say that this should be not to be treated as supplanting money. We went pretty far to acknowledge that that was a concern that voters would have and to put in some safeguards in the measure.
Mm-hmm. For people who want to support this measure, Misty, or find out more information about it, you do have a website and an organization. Tell us about that.
We do. www.showmeabrighterfuture.com is where people can go and sign up to be part of the campaign. We're also on social media, Facebook and Twitter, so they can, follow us and get regular campaign updates. We're very active in both of those social media platforms, and so we encourage people to sign up, to volunteer. We do believe that we want people to vote yes on Prop B, and we believe we'll be successful. We've had an amazing amount of broad-based support throughout the state of Missouri. We turned in 220,000 signatures, so you can see Missourians really do want to have their voice heard on this issue, and I think we're going to be successful.
Misty Snodgrass, thanks a lot for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much for the opportunity. I really do appreciate it as well.